Whatever the adventure, there's a BMW engineered to take it on. The X3 delivers a striking design with agile performance. The 100% electric i4 packed with pure electric energy. Or the plug-in hybrid X5, an impressive versatile SUV granting full control on every journey. Choose what powers your next adventure during the BMW Road Home Sales Event. BMW, the ultimate driving machine. Hurry in for exceptional offers through January 2nd. Visit bmwusa.com for details.
Every day when you log into ChumbaCasino.com, the ultimate online social casino, you get a free daily bonus. Imagine if you got daily bonuses in other parts of your life.
I chose French fries over loaded French fries.
I asked Stuart from accounting about his weekend, even though I don't care.
I updated my operating system without having to call tech support.
Collect your free daily bonus at ChumbaCasino.com now. And live the Chumba life. VGW Group. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of hopsgeeknews, your home for comic books, movies, TV shows, and today, especially, justice. We are talking the 1992 hit film Batman Returns because it is December. It's Christmas time, holiday time, whatever it is that you celebrate. The movies are themed for this time of year. I couldn't get Lauren to talk about a Hallmark movie with me, so I said, fine. All right. Let's do Batman Returns with Michael Keaton, Christopher Walken, Michelle Pfeiffer, and Danny DeVito. She agreed. I have my Turbo Man Roosevelt shirt on because I didn't have a Christmas Batman shirt. I want to celebrate this. This is our fourth Christmas that we are celebrating together doing holiday films.
No, this is our fifth.
Oh, God, it's our fifth.
2020, 21, 22, 23, 24. This is our fifth. Holy shit.
She is correct. All right. Well, this is our fifth one, believe it or not. And honestly, if you know our show, if this is your first time, typically we do what we've messed up on, what we're reading or watching, some news, and then our main topic. However, today we are just diving into the film Batman Returns. There's going to be just what beer are we theming this week? And then to go into the film, we're going to kind of talk about the box office, what we loved, some fun facts. So hopefully you stick around for that. Like, subscribe, share, follow Hops Geek News, any podcasting platform, any social media platform. Follow us everywhere. Share with a friend. Leave a review. Helps the podcast grow. And if you want to support the show, patreon.com/hopsgeeknews is how you can do that. We love to do monthly movie nights with our Patreons. Only them. We get together, we hang out, we watch a movie. Last month was Deadpool and Wolverine. I'm not really sure what Christmas movie or maybe what holiday movie we're going to watch together. We'll figure that out. My beer, though, is perfectly themed. It is the Speculious Cookie Butter. It is Imperial Golden Ale with toasted coconut, vanilla beans, and natural flavors, coming in at 9.5%. It is from Hardywood Craft Brewery out of Richmond, Virginia. And it is, like I said, man, if you know anything about Hardywood, one thing that they really do well is their holiday seasonal beers, the gingerbread stouts. They just do so good. The Christmas stouts, I really enjoy. And I hadn't had this one until now. So it's the first time having this one. Really good beer. If you go to Hardywood, try to get your hands on it. Lauren, welcome to the party, pal. What you got?
Hardywood. You got Hardywood?
I do. Tastes like a Christmas cookie.
You know what I got? Hardywood.
Oh!
It's a Christmas miracle.
We were literally just talking before the show about accidentally theming together like our Ahsoka outfits on the boat. We coordinated Star Wars, but we both wore Ahsoka. And look at that. We have the same brewery. Look at us. Stop.
So this was from the pack I got last year. And, you know, with stouts, I always feel like they'll age well. So with the Hardywood pack that I got it at like Publix last year down here in Florida.
Yeah, you can get it anywhere.
I had to grab it. And some of them were phenomenal and some were way too sweet for me. But this one, it's an imperial milk stout with ginger, cinnamon, honey, vanilla, and coffee. I feel like the ginger calms it down a lot, and it's aged for a year. So it's 9.2%. I don't know if it still is. I don't really know how that works. I think sometimes it gets stronger. The IBUs are 55, which you don't always see that on a stout, but this is really yummy. It is 9%, so I'm going to slowly pace myself because I don't have 9 lives. I have 1 life.
I have one life and I'm running a turkey trot 5K in the morning, which at this point I could do in my sleep. Nonetheless,
Ooh,
I have a
fancy
reputation to
you.
uphold. Okay.
So I do have it in my Jack glass, but you can't see with the stout. But here, we'll give you one of the fun facts. Tim Burton. Yeah, you got Jackie behind you too. I love Jack Skellington so much. Tim Burton did not direct Nightmare Before Christmas because of this movie.
Oh, really? Oh, that's right. That's right. I forgot that. I gotta edit that out. Carrie just came here and slammed doors. Nonsense. But
I heard shutting of a door.
That
Shut
slammed.
the front door.
Shut the door, woman. Well, yes. Let's roll into the film, shall we? The 1992 film Batman Returns. Now, it was a box office hit, actually. The production budget was $80 million, which pretty substantial for a 92 film. And it actually ended up grossing a total of $266.94 million worldwide. Domestically, it made $162,924,000. And internationally made $104,010,000 opening weekend on June 21st. Now, this was a Christmas movie, mind you.
That was opening weekend in June. That's just silly. This whole movie takes place at Christmas.
This whole movie takes place at Christmas, and there's been some debate whether or not this is a Christmas movie. Come on. The whole theme is Christmas.
The last line is like Merry Christmas, Alfred, and goodwill towards men and women.
No, it's the last line of this movie is literally Merry Christmas,
First scene
Alfred.
as a Christmas tree.
There's Christmas trees everywhere. Okay, be for real. Yeah, it was June 21st, 1992, and it doubled its budget, topped the box office chart for 1992, and was the highest opening weekend for any film in the year 1992. I don't know what else came out that year. I didn't look. All I know is Batman was supreme, coming off the heels of the 1989 film Batman, which was loved, highly riveted, but there was a lot production wise behind this movie that we're going to kind of get into because it wasn't smooth sailing like we all might think of today. Now, Lauren, do you remember the first time you've ever watched this movie by chance? Or generally?
I don't know if I remember vividly the first time, but I know this was one we watched regularly as a kid. What's funny is like literally I walked in with groceries into the house the other day and I said, honey, I'm home. Oh yeah, I forgot I'm not married. I do that all the time. And the kids are always like, what? Like, cause you are married. And like, I don't, every time I walk in the door, I want to like say that. And I've wanted to say that for
I know.
like 30
I say
years.
it all the time too. It is the funny, the things you pick up on from certain movies and you're just like, I don't know why I say that. And you're like, it just stuck with me, I guess. I don't know.
I don't know why, but yes, she says it more than once. And then it's not even a great line. Like the way they portray single women in this movie is god awful. This movie did not.
They treat women terribly. Good God.
And statistics are showing single women are happier than married women, but single women are just like pathetic in this. Like it's terrible stereotype. But fuck, it's amazing. She kicked ass.
Oh, good Lord. Yeah. I don't really remember.
Now she's the Wasp.
She is. She still looks good too. And I didn't obviously see this movie in theaters. I was 2 years old. Like I did not see this.
I might have. I don't know. I don't distinctly remember, but I might have. I was 9.
I don't remember when I first saw this movie. Actually, it's just kind of one of those movies that was on TV back when movies were on TV, right? And so I kind of watched bits and pieces. It was very much not a kid's movie. Again, we will kind of get into that aspect when we talk about the toys here in a little bit, because it was not very much geared to kids.
This one and the one with Jim Carrey, I think, were watched the most in my childhood.
Oh yeah, Batman Forever. How could you just listen?
That's
Batman
Jim
Forever
Carrey was like
Batman and Robin,
hilarious.
But those movies are a product of this film, actually, inconsequentially. Like this film was so dark and so not kid friendly that they course corrected too hard after they fired Tim Burton and Joel Schumacher came in and pretty much ruined Batman.
Ones are way better,
right?
Yeah.
But the film synopsis for this film, if you haven't seen it, very much why not? Because I actually think this is the better Michael Keaton Batman film. I said what I said.
I agree.
And the monstrous penguin, played by Danny DeVito, lives in the sewers beneath Gotham City, joins up with wicked shock-headed businessman Max Schreck, who is played by Christopher Walken, to topple the Batman, played by Michael Keaton, once and for all. But when Schreck's timid assistant, Selena Kyle, aka Michelle Pfeiffer, finds out, Schreck tries to kill her. She is transformed into the sexy Catwoman, who teams up with the Penguin and Schreck to destroy Batman. However, sparks fly unexpectedly when she confronts the Caped Crusader.
Sounds funny when you're like teamed up with Penguin and Schreck.
I know, like, what are you doing in my city? Like, wait a second.
What
Penguin
are you
shows
doing to my
up, and
swamp?
in the morning, I'm making waffles. Like, what? No, wrong movie, Danny. Sorry. This is go back to the Matilda set. We'll call you when we need you. Did you realize this week Danny DeVito turned 81 years old?
He's 81.
81. Yeah.
Wow, good for
What's
him.
his name? Rob McElhaney.
He looks really good for 81. Oh, from Always Sunny?
Always Sunny penned like a very heartfelt Instagram post saying, you know, to Danny DeVito, he's 80 freaking 1 years old. Like, I did not think he was in my mind, he's forever like 55 because he hasn't aged. So like the thought of Danny DeVito being 81 then sends me spiraling because I'm like, I don't want to live on Earth without Danny DeVito because he's been there your whole life.
Well, you look at this movie too. It's like Michael Keaton just did Beetlejuice again. He's in his 70s. I don't know how old Michelle Pfeiffer is, but all these people are still around. Christopher Walken, all of them.
They're making movies still, yeah.
Like I remember Christopher Walken being in this, but when he came out, I was like, "Holy shit!"
He was young in this. He looked handsome in this movie. Like, not for
he
nothing.
looked like he had a lot of makeup on. He looked pretty. Which
that
usually he doesn't look pretty.
I feel like this was like before he gets offed in this movie. This is the beginning to his Headless Horseman when he was in Sleepy Hollow.
Oh, so I guess apparently Tim Burton did not want to hire him because he found him creepy, or not creepy. He found him scary or something, and obviously he liked him because he put him in Sleepy Hollow.
This movie. Oh yeah, we got a lot. Let's go.
I know, so you can creep out Tim Burton. Good for you.
For real. Before we go into our thoughts and things on the movie, we like to talk about fun facts, and we got a lot of production notes on this movie. So why don't you kick us off with some of your fun facts?
So because Tim Burton isn't a big fan of sequels, this was before Beetlejuice 2. Batman, Alfred, and Commissioner Gordon were the only ones to return after Batman 89. We get a nod to Kim Basinger, but what are you doing?
I was going to say, can we talk? No, not really. It's not really that important. That's just my brain. ADHD, right? Can we talk about the fact that Alfred and Commissioner Gordon are the two ride or dies that are the same actor in the 4 Batman films that we got from 89 to 97?
Was it really?
Yeah, dude.
With Alfred, different Batmans?
Yes. That's the same.
That's so funny.
That's the
I guess I
only
just haven't watched them in order since I was a kid. Holy shit.
Yeah. It's dude, the same from all 4 movies. The Joel Schumacher and the Tim Burtons. Same. It's crazy. Like that's what stuck around. And Alfred's a real one, man. Alfred, and he looks the same age in 89 as he does in 70 or 1977. So that's what I have there. Sorry.
Very interesting. So what other fun facts do we have? So Burgess Meredith, who actually played the Penguin in the 1960s Batman, he made Penguin a household name. So he was actually asked to play Penguin's dad in this, but sadly he was ill and couldn't do so. So of course the next best option is Pee Wee Herman.
Interesting.
No matter what he's in, like even when I saw him in Blow, I'm like, this is Pee Wee Herman. Like it's always
Pee Wee Herman, and then you think of the other thing about Pee Wee Herman and Paul Newman.
I don't always go straight there. I just go to Pee Wee Herman and like
I was a child, so like when that story broke, so in my head, like immaturely, that's what it sticks with. But
it just makes me want to go to the Alamo and ask if I can see the basement. So Jack Nicholson encouraged Danny DeVito to actually take the role because he knew he was going to get that DC money.
So he did. Do you know who was originally cast as Penguin before Danny DeVito?
Colin Farrell.
No. Well, okay, be for real. Actually, the first choice for Penguin, Marlon Brando, was originally to be cast as Penguin.
Would never.
They would have had to tape all of his lines to Batman's chest. It would have been awful.
Oh, yeah, that's true too.
Batman's neck's not the only thing moving. Batman's chest moves with Penguin because Marlon doesn't know his lines.
He would no, Marlon Brando wouldn't have done that.
Do you want to know the other cast? Like the other 3? There's 3 more people that they wanted to cast.
Pierce Brosnan. What's another ridiculous?
Dustin Hoffman.
Okay. Well,
Christopher Lloyd.
Christopher Lloyd, I could see. He had just done the guy in Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
How about Robert De Niro?
Robert De Niro would have never done that.
That's who they wanted, those 4. And
they really were going for like mafia people.
They were all considered.
Look at Penguin now, but they didn't have. There was no mob stuff going on in this movie, which like they created Christopher Walken's character for this, which I thought was interesting. Like
he's basically the mob.
But you
he's
have
like a modern day politician.
Yeah, but you have so many DC mobsters that you could pull from. Why not use one of them?
Okay, so let's talk. All right, let's talk about that. Now, did you know who the original, what they wanted to do with the original script? It was actually, they really, really wanted to dive into Billy D. Williams' character of Harvey Dent. The original script was they wanted to
okay.
dive into Billy D. Williams. They wanted to follow that in his
That would've been
slow
good.
descent into
Madness.
Two-Face essentially. And
Right.
they obviously didn't like that. WB really wanted Penguin for some reason. They didn't want Billy D. Williams and Two-Faced. WB was like, no, this is what we want for this film. And so like the original writer ended up leaving. Sam Hamm was his name. Sam Hamm kind of leaves the project, and that comes to Waters. He takes over, which there's a whole other thing that has to do with, Waters' version of Batman. But Sam Hamm's drafts continued directly from the Batman, focusing on the relationship actually between Bruce Wayne and Vicky Vale, played by Kim Basinger, and their engagement. The Penguin was written as an avian-themed criminal who uses birds as weapons. Catwoman was overtly sexualized. She wore bondage gear and nonchalantly murdered groups of men. The main narrative teamed Penguin and Catwoman to frame Batman for the murders of Gotham's wealthiest citizens in their pursuit of a secret treasure. Their quest leads them to Wayne Manor, reveals Wayne's secret history, among other things. This is where Hamm originated the Christmas time setting and introduced Robin. Now, do you know who was originally supposed to play Robin in this movie?
Not Chris O'Donnell.
No, it was one of the Wayans brothers. I think it was Marlon or Damon. One of the two were supposed to actually, I think it was Marlon was cast as Robin.
Played like comedy actors then.
He was, could you imagine? He was cast as Robin.
That would make more sense up against like, Jim Carrey's Riddler.
Okay, and 45-year-old Chris O'Donnell made more sense. Like, yes.
Well, I mean,
or not,
yeah, it didn't make the most sense either. Oh my God, he wasn't that old, was he?
And it got even more bizarre because Batman's, although he was supposed to be introducing Batman's sidekick, he had ideas with assault rifle wielding Santas. They abandoned that. Hamm ensured that Batman did not kill anybody and focused on protecting Gotham's homeless. 2 drafts produced by Hamm failed to renew Burton's interest because Burton wasn't really interested in this. The director concentrated on directing.
Nightmare Before Christmas going on then.
Okay, so here, do you know what the 2 films were that Tim Burton? This is a fun trivia day. Tim Burton was actually directing 2 other big hits at the time. Before they got his attention for Batman, or Batman Returns, I should say. It was Edward Scissorhands and The Nightmare Before Christmas. He was concentrated on those films when they were initially writing these ones. It wasn't until January of 1991 that he was confirmed to be directing this film, which it was scheduled to release or begin filming in 1991. He agreed to return in exchange for creative control on the sequel. Burton considered Batman the least favorite of his films. He described it as occasionally boring, and according to Denise DeNovi, his longtime producer, only about 50% of Batman was Tim Burton. The studio wanted Batman Returns to be more of a Tim Burton movie, which was more weird and hip and fun. And Burton actually really disliked Batman producer John Peters. He demoted him as executive producer of Batman Returns and then barred him from set even at one point. And since Warner Brothers was the production company and distributor, with production assistance from executive producer Peter Guber and Peter's Polygram Pictures, this is when they bring in the new writer, Waters, right? Waters didn't care that Batman killed people. He actually believed that the character should reflect contemporary darker times and that the idea of a hero leaving captured villains for the authorities was outdated. Thus, Waters only had Batman kill when necessary. So the opening sequence where he tosses the bomb in the hole with that clown dude and obviously blows him up. That was one of the on-screen deaths. The Red Triangle member, I should say. And then much of Waters' bitter and cynical dialogue for Batman, such as Gotham City not deserving protection, was removed because Keaton said that Batman should rarely speak in costume, and Burton wanted Batman to be driven by trauma, not nihilism. And so because of that, the script focused on villains. Burton said that initially he struggled to understand the appeal of Penguin's comic book counterpart. Batman, Catwoman, and the Joker had clear psychological profiles, but the Penguin in the comics is just a guy with a cigarette and a top hat to Tim Burton. We dove
he's
into
the guy with mommy issues in the comics. And I feel like that's
Exactly.
where they fucked up in this. Is like they didn't have that mom-son relationship. They just dumped. I mean, obviously he had abandonment issues.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
But
we
he
cover
was creepy to
Penguin's
begin with.
backstory.
No. Yeah, Penguin was a monster that was created. He was not born.
A product of his environment.
Born in this, and you can't do like, but no, that yeah, exactly. Like having somebody be a product of their environment. There's your, psychiatry evaluation. He was eating cats as an infant. The doctor was horrified by his appearance when he was born. Like that's no. I feel like they fucked it up like that.
Like they definitely did.
He was a born monster.
So the Penguin was actually, in initial draft, resembled a stereotypical Danny DeVito character, which was an abrasive gangster. However, Burton and Waters agreed to make him more animalistic. So they decided to make Penguin this grotesque figure, abandoned as an
so gross.
They this one job. Particularly, right? Yes, so he was abandoned as an infant by his parents, which was a reflection of Batman's childhood trauma.
Lightly. They dropped him into icy cold waters on Christmas.
They literally turned around. He's in this box, like acting crazy, and they just like, there you go. It was wild.
And they were still like, I'm just interested. Like, well, this is what it is. Like, aren't you guys curious? Like, how you created this thing? Like, it doesn't make any sense.
Very much so. But yeah, so it's a reflection. It's supposed to be a reflection of Batman's childhood trauma. Political and the social satire was added and influenced by 2 episodes of the 1960 television series Batman, which are His Honor, the Penguin, and Dishonor, the Penguin, in which Penguin runs for mayor. Waters changed Ham's Catwoman from a fetishly sexual fantasy to a working class, disenchanted secretary, writing her as an allegory of contemporary feminism.
But they didn't. That wasn't feminism. That was bashing single women. Y'all don't know.
But don't worry.
If that's what you think it is.
Because Burton and Waters actually fall out over disagreements about the script, and Waters actually refused to change anything in the script. So that's when Tim Burton hires Wesley Strick to refine Waters' work, streamline the dialogue, lighten the tone. I don't think he got the memo. And Warner Brothers executives mandated that Strick introduce a master plan for the Penguin, which resulted in the addition of the plot to kidnap Gotham's firstborn sons and threaten the city with missiles. Waters said that the changes to his work were relatively minor. Right. But he was baffled by the Penguin's master plan.
Over there. Okay. There was one thing I just want to say. It's like when Penguin's like, well, you guys are out partying and pretending you're bad dancing and drinking while your kids are at home. Okay. Fuck you, Penguin, because parents need a night out. We deserve a night out. We're allowed to go out, even if we can't dance well and get drunk. We are allowed to do that. So go fuck yourself.
Exactly.
We didn't all throw our children into icy cold water.
I would love to sometimes, but I didn't.
Right. I could see her taking control of her life as Catwoman is feminism. I guess you could argue that. But going to,
I don't know. I was 2 again. I don't know.
Sexy they did make her. Well, I didn't get any of that. I also rewatching it today. I was like, holy shit, Penguin is a pervert. He's disgusting.
Can we talk about
I'd like to fill her void?
The line. The absolute line
I've been looking for. Is that the line you were gonna say?
No, I was gonna say where he's like, okay, so they frame Batman for killing the actress or from the rooftop, right? And then she goes, "You're so grotesque. I would never touch you." And he goes, "Listen here, you little minx. I'd have you, what was the word? It's like, listen here, you little minx. I'd have you neutered or spayed."
Yeah, spayed. Yeah.
He's like, "I don't even like you anymore."
Because Catwoman's like, I wouldn't even touch you to scratch you. She said something like that, and he's like, and he goes, "Well, you keep giving me signals or something like that," is what he said to her.
He's
and
such an incel.
Basically, like, if you're not gonna sleep with me, then I'm gonna murder you. I was like, yeah. It's one of those like, oh, you don't go out with me? Well, you're ugly anyways.
That's exactly. I don't even like you anymore anyways, is what he says. And then he like hangs her with his, and we'll get into that in a minute. But to wrap up this little part. So Ham makes a final revision to Strick's shooting screenplay. And although Strick was on set for 4 months of filming and agreed upon rewriting, Waters was actually the only screenwriter that was credited in this film. So throwing it back to you, give us some more of
lighthearted fun facts.
Yeah, we'll go back when we talk. I got some more like this. There was a lot of behind the scenes drama with this film.
I kind of feel like the behind the scenes
some lighthearted.
Yeah, the behind the scenes would almost make a better movie than the movie.
I mean, that sounds like a Batman villain through and through. Like, Burton did not want to do this movie.
So the movie posters with Catwoman on them kept getting stolen. Can't imagine what people were doing.
I was about to say, I cannot imagine why.
So while the bats were fake and some of the penguins were fake and mechanical,
That's frightened me, Alfred.
a lot of the penguins were real, and apparently they were very, very well taken care of. I actually, so I saw this fun fact on IMDb, and then I Googled it and went to like the American Humane or whatever, and like they had people on the set. They like had to fly these penguins over, keep it incredibly cold. They had an amazing pool to go to, and apparently they had so much fun that many of them mated and had baby penguins, and that is a sign of them being happy.
Well, that's good. Good for them.
Yeah.
Yes, they did fly in penguins, but like the conditions weren't perfect, and so Danny DeVito mentioned like how he hated some of the conditions on set because it was just miserable at points.
Well, it was probably really cold because they had to keep it cold for the penguins.
Right, but overall, they apparently everybody on set said it was a very collaborative experience at the same time, so it couldn't have been that bad, I guess.
Yeah, but it sounded like because I read about how they treated all the animals, and like the animals that weren't penguins, they got like heat lamps. But the monkey was like terrified of penguins.
Can we talk about the penguins that dragged Danny DeVito's body into the water, even though they don't even?
Those were fake.
Those were clearly like human beings in penguin suits,
yes.
And like imagine being that your one credit
like
for a
Paul
movie.
Bears.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that scene when Christopher Walken's like
so
under
something.
The water, getting the gun and the corpse is under there. That gave me PTSD flashbacks for the movie Tusk.
Oh yeah,
Right?
that's a good one. Yeah, that's a good one.
Okay, so a lot of the WB lot was taken up by this movie. This was back before superhero movies were filming like outside, and so like everything was Gotham City. Keaton got $10 million.
Hold on to the studio. Did you know what they ended up buying the Pinewood studio for $2 million in the United Kingdom and originally because they wanted to use it for 2 more sequels. But by the time this movie started to film, the economic situation in the United Kingdom had actually changed. And so that's why they abandoned that whole idea. So WB originally bought the Pinewood Studios where like The Last Jedi and stuff had filmed. You know, Star Wars is notoriously, the newer Star Wars are filmed in the UK at Pinewood. But WB originally bought that.
Deadpool and Wolverine was filmed out in the UK.
Exactly. But economics had changed over the time that it took them to get the script and everything right, that they abandoned that and then thus ended up filming on that lot that we see with just paper mache Gotham City.
So Keaton got $10 million for this, and like they were not totally happy with that. And Tim Burton's like, no, it'll be fine. Like he's worth it. It'll work out. And obviously you gave us numbers earlier that clearly it was fine and it worked out. But what's just so interesting is Robert Downey. How much do you think? I don't know if you're looking at the doc.
I know how much it was. Don't worry.
Okay, that
75 million.
Yeah,
for
Robert Downey
Endgame.
Jr. got $75 million for Endgame.
Well, I mean, you didn't even put like how much they just paid him to come back as Dr. Doom, which was an even bigger number. I don't want to know. It's like 200 million or something like that. Maybe I'm overshooting it, but continue.
That's a lot of money. What do you even do with that much money?
I don't know. Can I borrow like 5 million, please? Like that would solve so many of my problems.
I mean, he could just.
Could you imagine being worth $200 million just to go and act and basically CGI? And like acting is very hard. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying acting is hard.
I can't act for shit.
$75 million in Tony Stark's literally half the time in a room talking to nobody because he's in the Iron Man suit. Like, bro.
He wore the suit more so in the first one.
He did.
I watched Home for the Holidays last night, and he's in that movie, and it was so funny to watch Brielle's reaction. Go, that's Iron Man?
Okay, he's earning $100 million for playing Dr. Doom. So I was off by 100 mil. My bad.
Part of me wants to be like, you know what? He's earned it. But then I think of all the people that earn like 50 grand a year for their backbreaking jobs.
Teachers, right? like not to go down a rabbit hole, but like
seriously, just because I love Robert Downey Jr. That's just, he's never going to spend that all. His kids are never going to spend
You're never going to spend it. Again, can I borrow $5 million, please?
It's just so pointless.
I feel like that's like a drop.
Anyway.
That's not even like a penny to him, but whatever, man. Continue.
All right. So Michelle Pfeiffer's costume was vacuum sealed on her, and she would have to take breaks because she would get lightheaded.
So
this is just unnecessary and so fucking stupid. Batman's shoes are Air Jordan 6s connected to an upper, which give the boot-like style.
Okay.
And I wasn't sure
How
about that.
amazing
and when
is
I watched
that?
him grab them, I'm like, oh, they do look like sneakers on the bottom. Yeah.
Like, how amazing is that, though?
How
Air
90s
Jordans?
is that?
Dude, Air Jordans?
Even Batman wanted to be like Mike.
Dude, Imagine getting kicked in the face as a bad guy to freaking Air Jordans. Like,
I think they had the pumps under the extension and he could pump them up.
Batman's pumping himself up while he's about to jump off the building. Like, yeah.
I mean, now he's like 70. He's got to pump.
He spent too much money on his Jordans. That's why he couldn't move his neck.
Yeah, right. At least a lot of them are now. Although Deadpool and Wolverine was saying it took him a long time to pee.
Well, but, I mean, that's the cost, right? Do you want to move your head or do you want to?
Saying they had Daredevil in New York. Charlie Cox was talking about the Daredevil costume. And he said there was 3 zippers to be able to pee to make it easier. So yeah.
Well,
somebody's
Christian Bale's Batman is like, do you want to be able to back out the driveway? And that's why they made his neck able to turn. But I heard that suit was also a nightmare to get on and off.
But they should be able to move. That was my.
If you're getting $75 million, I don't want to hear you bitching about how uncomfortable the suit is.
But it looks stupid for us. I can tell he can't, and I feel like he ripped his mask off at the end, not to be more vulnerable. Oh my God!
Pfeiffer, because he was uncomfortable. And can we talk about the quality of masks Batman's importing at this point? Okay, not for nothing. I'm sorry, Michael Keaton. You're not jacked. You're not Hulk Hogan ripping his shirt off at WrestleMania. No, dude, you just casually rip that rubber. You know how hard rubber is to even rip apart anyways, but he just casually rips his rubber mask off and it's
maybe it was the rubber cement inside Stretch Armstrong.
I'm not buying again, Batman. I don't know how you're taking head blows from punches because that suit is not in the modern day movies, right? Ben Affleck, he gets shot in the head, but he has a steel plate or bulletproof, right?
Or Kevlar.
Yeah, in every Batman mask, they make it a point to talk about how he has protection.
Wasn't the cape
Michael Keaton's just ripping it off. I don't know. His cape turns into a hang glider, which I thought was pretty cool, but that mask ain't protecting you from punches, buddy.
No.
Robert Pattinson takes a shotgun to the chest. A shotgun blast to the chest, and there's a purpose for that too. Okay, never mind. I'm sorry. I'll go down. Real quick.
Did you know there's an Easter egg to Mr. Freeze in this?
Is there? You're not sending me to the cooler.
So on Max Shrek's, in his office, there is a photograph of him with Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Okay, I love that. That's awesome.
Accidental foreshadowing, perhaps.
Did you guess who 3 of the big women were that actually lobbied to play Catwoman?
Annette Bening was supposed to, but she got pregnant.
Yes.
Who's the? Oh my gosh, I love her so much. I can't remember her name now. She wanted to play her, but they said she was too old.
Ooh, that's tough.
She's in Kramer versus Kramer.
How about
Meryl
would you
Streep.
Believe? Oh, I didn't see her pop up. You know who I did see pop up though?
I might have made that up.
What if Catwoman was doing her backflips like she loves to do in the opening arcs of this movie after she gets killed by Shrek? God, that sounds ridiculous if you don't put his first name first. If when she's doing her flips, imagine hearing that to Like a Virgin, because Madonna was one of the people who lobbied to play.
Yeah, that's just silly.
And,
it's okay. Michael Jackson wanted to play Spider-Man.
He did. How about Cher also lobbied to play Catwoman?
Stay in your lane.
And then one more big actress, Susan Sarandon, also wanted to play Catwoman.
Maybe
I would.
Susan Sarandon's the one that they said was a little too old to play at the time.
It might have been, but she would have been probably more believable than Cher and Madonna. Thank God we averted that crisis.
100%. Yeah.
But yeah, Michelle Pfeiffer is perfect. Honestly, I thought she's actually my favorite. Whereas Jack Nicholson, this might be a hot take, I don't like his Joker very much. Michelle Pfeiffer,
it's very comedic. I never saw Halle Berry.
It's not Joker. We don't talk about that one. That doesn't exist. That definitely doesn't exist with Benjamin Bratt. Michelle Pfeiffer's Catwoman is actually my favorite. Believe it or not.
And the hello there. Oh my God.
Zoe Kravitz, not bad. Anne Hathaway, not bad. But Michelle Pfeiffer plays Catwoman, Selena Kyle, so well. And then one more
she does.
Villain they wanted to get into this movie was actually Riddler. And they wanted Robin Williams to play Riddler. But he didn't want to. So that's why Riddler didn't show up until Jim Carrey's version.
Well, and he left him.
That's a whole conversation for another time because I can't wait to dive into the Joel Schumacher. We've done commentaries, but we haven't dove into those production notes, and those are fun.
Well, 2025 is going to be a hell of a year.
It's going to be our year, I promise. I don't, but it might be.
So the bird that Michelle Pfeiffer put in her mouth was a real bird because she said all the fake birds look too fake.
Pretty bird.
That's when I definitely, there are fun facts I read and I'm like, okay. And then there are fun facts I read that I'm like, I'm going to double check this.
Like, did we have to do that one?
And it's apparently true.
Michelle Pfeiffer. All right, she got that dog in her.
So this was the first time that Catwoman and Penguin were called by their real comic book names, Selena Kyle and Oswald Cobblepot, which I thought was interesting. And now, we watch this stuff and like, we want that more nods to the comic books. But I feel like in the 90s, they were somewhat disassociating because they were trying to get a target market that was not comic book fans.
Oh, big time. Big time. Comic books weren't popular then in the 90s. You were seeing like Outcast, essentially.
Well, because it's like I grew up watching all of the Batman films. Like as a child, I didn't really know anything Marvel. But I never read a comic book until I was in my 20s. So There you go. Michelle Pfeiffer, though, was actually a fan of Catwoman growing up, which I thought was really cool.
Really? I didn't know that. I did not know that one. I'm glad
she really wanted it and was disappointed when Annette Bening got cast. And then, obviously that worked out for her. So I think all the rest of these fun facts.
Oh, yeah. Let's dive into the marketing campaign of this movie. All right. The marketing campaign for this film was actually substantial. It included brand collaborations and a variety of merchandise aiming to repeat Batman's financial success. Released on June 19th, 1992, Batman Returns broke several box office records that we talked about. However, it failed to replicate the success or longevity of Batman, which earned $411.6 million. This was blamed on the darker tone as well as violent and sexual elements, which alienated family audiences and led to a backlash against marketing partners for promoting the film to young children. Reviews are polarized, but praised most of the main cast.
I will say, though, that all those things went over my head as a kid. It wasn't until I watched it as an adult that I was like, what the fuck?
Oh, you're like, oh. Did you know the number one brand that got backlash from this movie was?
The number one brand? I don't remember seeing any brands.
Well, McDonald's actually got the most backlash from this because, all right, so this movie, like WB wanted to sell toys essentially for this film, but it was very dark. How do you sell toys for this movie that's very much not really aimed for the young audience?
Well, at one point, the Batmobile did turn into a certain toy that would be targeting adults.
True. And way back when, Happy Meals actually included a legitimate toy, believe it or not just some piece of crap toy that you get today.
What do they include now?
I don't know. Not what they used to. That's for sure. I don't get Pokeballs with gold plated things in there. I don't get Beanie Babies. I don't get Lion King toys. Okay.
Oh,
I don't get any of that stuff.
Did McDonald's have I remember Burger King had Lion King toys.
Yeah.
I don't know if McDonald's
like
did.
I used to get like at Burger King had the Pokeballs with like the gold plated Pokemon things. Yeah, dude, we don't get those anymore. That the toys now are garbage, absolute trash. I get my kids very, very much once in a while. But however, Tim Burton was actually fired as a result of Batman Returns in the marketing deals. Or not like fired, but like they did not bring him back for the third film because of this. And so,
okay.
You don't exactly see Resident Evil themed toys crawling out of your Happy Meals. So because of the
you
might, but because of the dark tone of this movie, they couldn't really use the toys. They used the toys, but they didn't. Burton was arguing with censors over the film already before it was even finished, cutting scenes and violence to reach a more acceptable PG-13 rating than the proposed R rating. So Tim Burton, believe it or not, wanted to make an R-rated Batman film. McDonald's only had a rough cut of the film to go on at the time. Their faith was misjudged when they signed a deal to promote the family-friendly, quotes around family-friendly, in the run-up to the July 1992. Every part of McDonald's food came plastered with the cowl visage of Batman. So everything McDonald's in 92 in summer was Batman Returns themed. Very much. Tim Burton told Yahoo that he upset McDonald's. They said, what's that black stuff coming out of Penguin's mouth? We can't sell Happy Meals with that.
What is that?
It looks like when you have charcoal toothpaste. Like
I didn't understand that. And like he's bleeding red blood, so that's not his blood. I didn't understand that. He wasn't eating octopus. That did not make sense to me.
It doesn't. It's actually strange that 1989's Batman was actually never marketed for kids either. But they did have some merchandise surrounding the Batman animated series, and that actually merged with Happy Meals. So as Batman Return and opened, there was a slew of angry parents that chowed down their Happy Meals. Violence-loving adults may enjoy this film, but why on earth is McDonald's pushing this exploitive movie through the sales of its so-called Happy Meals? The backlash then snowballed, going so far as Christian-based organization Dove Foundation called out McDonald's on why would it promote a film so full of violence. However, despite all of this issue, right, McDonald's very much continued to promote the range for the full-length film until September when his contract ended. Now, what's even funnier is with a PR nightmare on their hands, McDonald's and Warner Brothers did whatever they could to distance themselves from the partnership. So they were partnered, but not partnered. It's basically a situationship. Yeah,
I just looked them up. They're adorable.
Situationship, right? It reminds you of that scene where Penguin takes over the Batmobile, on that little kid ride that would be 25 cents.
Yes, that was so good.
At the time, the Happy Meal was exclusively marketed to the 1 to 10-year-old age range. So apart from the odd poor student, toys were effectively marketing a film that the recipient should be going nowhere near with Batman Returns. The dark but cartoony tones of Batman the Animated Series were just mere months away at this point. So McDonald's could have been promoting Batman as a man, not just a film, but this was the excuse that they gave. We were careful not to provide actual toys from the movie. However, they looked very much like the Batmobile from the movie, right? Catwoman may not have driven around the film.
Like the one that was a little phallic.
Now, Catwoman may not have driven a purple car with a cat face, but the Batmobile looks a little similar.
It does. And then Penguin has the umbrella on the front, but it's like red spirals. Well, and the Fry boxes had the Batman logo. And the bag had Michael Keaton on it. And they had cups that had Penguin and Batman.
It gets better.
Oh, and you could buy the cups for 49 cents on top of your meal. 49 cents. That's crazy.
Guess what the
toys are cute.
The tagline for their cups with 5 Frisbee bat disc lids straight from the movie.
Dun dun dun.
Just saying. They were caught. Everybody knew that McDonald's was in bed with this movie. They just would not admit it. Parents reacted badly to the film. But Tim Burton never marketed the movie as a kid's film, to be fair in his defense. In 2005, there was a documentary called The Shadows of the Bat, Part 4, The Dark Side of the Night, where Tim Burton says that the audience reaction was too mixed to gauge, but the warning signs were there that he could have overstepped the mark. So he says it was a weird reaction to Batman Returns because half the people thought it was lighter than the first one and half the people thought it was darker. Very much the first divisive.
I feel like the first one was very grown up, and I feel like the second one was more targeting kids and dirtier.
Yeah, well, I mean,
so there's
I was going to say, I think the studio thought it was too weird. They wanted to go with something more childlike or family friendly, but they didn't want me to do another one. Yeah. And so
I just searched Batman Returns McDonald's and I went to images and that's what I'm looking at all. And then I scroll down, there's a YouTube video that says how McDonald's got Tim Burton fired from Batman.
That's exactly what we were talking about, right? The whole toy thing, parents are pissed that they thought Batman was for kids because McDonald's toys were for kids then. So they would take their kids.
I watched it as a kid. Very much
not a kid film.
But again, all the bad stuff goes over the kids' heads.
Yeah.
I mean, I would let Logan watch this now. Does that make me a bad mom? He's 7.
Yeah.
But he's not going to understand the filling your void or the pussy or anything like that.
No, none of that stuff. They never really considered franchising back then. However, after the merchandise contributed to about $500 million to its $1.5 total billion-dollar earning, it was prioritized for Batman Returns. So 1989's Batman pretty much made $1.5 billion total in earnings, right? So they delayed major promotion of Batman Returns until February of 1992 because they didn't want to oversaturate the market. Very much different than marketing today. There were 12
oversaturate the crap out of it. We're going to tell half the movie in the trailers.
Worldcon actually in September of 1991 had 12 minutes worth of promotional reel. It had a black and white poster of a silhouette of Batman, which was called mundane and uninspiring. A trailer was released in 5,000 theaters in February of 1992 with a snow-swept Batman on the logo. The campaign focused on 3 central characters: your Batman, your Penguin, and your Catwoman. Warner Brothers believed that this would offset the loss of the popular Jack Nicholson leaving the franchise. Over 2/3 of the $300 posters that Warner Brothers installed in its public places were stolen, what we talked about. Warner Brothers eventually offered 200 limited edition posters for $250 signed by Michael Keaton himself, who donated those earnings to charity. All in all, over $100 million was expected to be spent on marketing, including $20 million by Warner Brothers for commercials, trailers, and $60 million by merchandising partners. The partners included McDonald's, Ralston Purina, Kmart, if you still see those around, interesting, Target, Venture Stores, and Sears. They plan to host about 300 in-store Batman shops. McDonald's converted 9,000 outlets into Gotham City-themed restaurants, offering Batman-themed packaging, cup lids, which also were flying discs. CBS aired a television special, The Bat, the Cat, the Penguin, Batman Returns, and Choice Hotels sponsored the hour-long making of Batman Returns. TV advertisements featured Batman and Catwoman fighting over a can of Diet Coke, and the Penguin and his penguins promoted Choice Hotels. Advertisements were seen on billboards, print, consecutive pages in newspapers, and they were all targeted to older audiences. So that's pretty much like all the behind the scenes things for this film, which are crazy because you don't really hear about stuff like that these days.
No, I didn't fall down that hole. Like when you said you fell down like a Batman.
I told you I fell down the Batman Returns rabbit hole, man. Like I knew some of this stuff, but I didn't know the extent.
I had no clue. I didn't know any of this. Like I was like, this is what happened on set with making this movie. Like I didn't know any of the drama.
Wow, Catwoman was attractive. She was, but did you know that this movie was not for kids and they were very angry growing up? Yeah, man. And that's what I love
Michelle
about
Pfieffer. We don't get enough of her.
I wonder if she's like
I mean, think of like
right.
Well, I mean, you know, she's the Wasp now, which I love, but I feel like we didn't get.
When are we getting her back in though?
Yeah,
because the Kang Saga's done. Like,
yeah, they have to do something with that. I don't know.
But you are right. Like Michelle Pfeiffer in this movie, it's like Nicole Kidman.
She can act. She's gorgeous. She can kick ass.
What is it about women appearing in a Batman film that makes them like the hottest they've ever? Sorry, that was very misogynistic, if you will. The most attractive they've ever, because Nicole Kidman,
like Uma Thurman,
and Uma Thurman, Nicole Kidman, Michelle Pfeiffer, their most attractive they've ever been, I feel like, was in these Batman films that they starred in. Nicole Kidman,
could have
hands
an
down.
Argument for Zoe Kravitz too.
Anne Hathaway, maybe, but
I was
Anne
thinking
Hathaway's
Anne
been so
Hathaway
much
too.
other stuff. But Zoe Kravitz, I really,
and a lot of the other things, like as Joey, like I know her as Joey.
Right.
They tone her down in Joey.
But I'm very curious.
I didn't love Maggie Gyllenhaal. That was a terrible.
I didn't care for Maggie. I've never found her attractive. Katie Holmes, though, was like very girl next door.
So pretty.
In Batman Begins.
Yeah.
You know, she had like that, you know, just everybody knows her type. She wasn't over, which I really like Nolan's films because they didn't over sexualize. And I think that's something that we've gotten away from.
Yeah, he really didn't.
Uma Thurman, I mean, as Poison Ivy, which we deserve. I would love to see a Poison Ivy and Swamp Thing film together at some point. That'd be so good.
When Catwoman fell into the greenhouse, I was like, oh, I wonder if that's Poison Ivy.
Yeah, it was like a nod to it, right?
In my head, I thought that was a nod. Yeah.
Well, okay, so let's go into our favorite scenes then. What were some of your favorite moments from this film?
I genuinely love anything where Michelle Pfeiffer is being badass. And when I saw how much work she put into it, of like she did like kickboxing and like with the whip and everything. Apparently she found the whip when she was moving like
one take
later.
Can you believe that? Like when she was doing the whip initially, like that's her first, that's one take.
That's awesome. But I guess she tried using the whip again when she found it years later and like wasn't the same. She's like, oh, I think I lost it a little bit. But I love every scene with her. I love the moment they realize like, oh, we're under the mistletoe, a kiss under, the mistletoe. I love that.
I'm so glad you put that because in my notes, it might be my favorite I'm Batman reveal in Batman history. Because at that point, like they're very close.
When
I
it was
love their
very
relationship.
subtle and it makes sense. Yes.
It
And
does.
it was still
Yeah.
new.
She looks up. She's like, "Oh, look at that under the mistletoe!" A kiss, and then he finishes it, and they both like, "Oh!" It's just like really romantic. Like, oh my god, you can feel like the love they have for each other in that scene. I feel like they have really
And the
good
fact
on-screen
that her
chemistry.
eyes were teared up. Yeah. And he
Yes.
looks at her with her eyes teared up and he sees like the heartbreak. And then that's why at the end he's like, we're the same. And it's like to a degree they are the same, but she's not gonna. I feel like there's a degree
She
of like,
thought she
she's
was a
not gonna
charity
handle it the way she
case.
was. But yes, because she's been a woman who's been victimized and told she's
I mean,
worthless. So it's like
Max
she's not
Shrek
gonna have
pushes
a
her
man
out the
rescue her.
window
That's not
and
gonna
kills her.
happen. Yeah.
Yeah, like,
But you
dude,
can't
she's
let
so
this guy
treated wrong.
rescue her in a fantasy. Oh,
No,
100%.
I mean, absolutely not. And she has my other favorite line, which is when Max Shrek is like, "Bruce Wayne, why are you just like Batman?" And she's like,
I love that.
"Because he is Batman, you moron." I'm just like, it's so like, oh my god.
But that
the
goes
way
to
she
show how
delivers
much
that.
effort Bruce Wayne put into his, fake persona of Bruce Wayne. So, kudos to him.
Yeah.
Although I feel like Michael Keaton, as much as I love Michael Keaton and he will always be my favorite Batman because he was my first Batman, he does not do a great job of differentiating
Oh my god, like
Bruce Wayne from
at
Batman.
all.
Christian Bale, I think, does the best job of differentiating the two.
Oh my god. Yeah, now you're talking my language. I feel like Ben Affleck had the potential to be the best
Yeah.
Batman and Bruce Wayne, but Zack Snyder ruined him. And
Until Jensen steps up.
no, that's why I'm like, Robert Pattinson has range. I really think once I get it, I know your thought. You have to let the story
His
play out.
emotions. He needs to
Oh.
get his Playboy act together. His facade is not good enough. His
That's the
Bruce Wayne's
point.
too authentic.
That's the point.
But then he's gonna get caught earlier if his Bruce Wayne is not focused.
Did you
on
pay
creating a
attention to the
facade,
Batman?
people are
That
gonna
is
put it
exactly
together.
what Alfred was telling him in the movie. Alfred tells him that.
I do
Goose,
like Andy.
he literally tells him he needs to be that billionaire.
Get a haircut.
He tells him this. And so I think in the second movie we're gonna get that. And that's why I think we have
I'm
something
gonna
there.
like slap this kid. Is he really? He's
I'm gonna
really
slap
36?
you for
Like,
no, not really.
I'm gonna look up how old Robert Pattinson is because
He's like 36, I'm telling you.
get a haircut, get your hair out your fucking face. I'm
That's
sorry,
the
I've
point.
dropped a lot of
Alfred,
F-bombs.
Andy
I'm
Serkis,
dropping so many F-bombs
Andy
in it.
Serkis is literally like,
So many.
get your stuff together. Come on, man.
Okay, I ended up with
Anyways.
Robert Redford. No, Robert
No,
Pattinson.
completely different. That's Winter Soldier.
No, I just put Robert. He's 38.
I was close.
Okay, so
Price
he's-
is Right rules. I'm right.
He's less than 3 years younger than me, and he needs to get his bangs out of his face.
I'm glad. Look, if I can grow hair like that, I would. Anyways, neither here nor there. I really thought like the penguins marching around shooting rockets off was hilarious.
It was so many penguins lately.
This gives us like I love the fact that they use penguins umbrella, right? Like
Yeah.
penguin leaning
Oh my
into his
God.
umbrella and using it was like a really, they don't do that enough. Like in the penguin's
No.
grounded, but like he has
Yeah.
bullets, he's hanging Catwoman and launching her on a helicopter ride. Like it was awesome.
Okay. 2 favorite scenes. One, you get your classic Michael Keaton looking at the bat signal. Like,
Oh yeah.
you
Yep.
can't search a GIF and put Batman
It's
and not
him,
see that.
yep.
That's obviously perfection. 2, when all of a sudden Batman plays like Penguin talking shit about the citizens of Gotham, and
was
all of a
good.
sudden they start throwing tomatoes and eggs, and Penguin goes,
Why do they always have tomatoes?
and eggs to a speech? Because right away in my head, I was like, I'm putting this in my notes. This is ridiculous. And I was like, no, he just called the movie out. So I thought
That
was fantastic.
scene is also my notes, but because Bruce Wayne, first of all, he's so gaudy in that everything he has is bat symboled in the Bat Manor, right? Or the Bat Cave. So, but he plays DJ on his CD. It's like on his CD. And then you have Alfred. Alfred's back there with his headphones on. He's just like thumbs upping Bruce Wayne the whole time, like a radio DJ
So I
listening
had
and like,
subtitles on always. Record skips. They didn't even say CD. It literally says record skips. in the
record skips.
subtitles.
It's Penguin behind the umbrella. Like, you probably are wondering how I got here. Let's rewind. And it shows everything up to that moment. And he's like, who are they throwing tomatoes and eggs? Who brings
You
that
gotta
to a
realize,
political rally?
1992? Who had CDs in 1992? That was a fancy
Actually,
thing.
CDs were ahead of their time at
92.
that point. I mean, Batman put a CD in his
Yes.
Batmobile. Even like, oh my
Yeah.
god, dude!
That was unheard of at the time. Well, I think was it Wedding Singer? The guy gets like a CD player, and I think that takes place in the 80s. So that's one. But if I was still having cassette tapes in 92.
Okay, but that whole sequence, can we talk about like that the entire thing? So it goes from when Batman's on the rooftop, she falls down. She falls into the present, dies, but it turns the tree light on, which kickstarts this entire like laughable thing going on. It's just hilarious.
But that's what she was practicing. She's like, do I do this and then turn the lights on?
Yeah,
or do I turn the lights on and then do
exactly. It's amazing. Like it's comedy because she falls down, she dies, the lights turn on, and then Batman's got his whole like
didn't even try to save
Batmobile.
her. I'm like waiting for him to throw a grappling hook down there. I don't know what a grappling hook is, but I think that's what it is.
Well, okay. That brings up my next point. Batman is again gaudy. Can we talk about his slow motion entrance scenes, like in the cave of the zoo, where Michelle Pfeiffer is with Max Schreck? He just slowly puts his grappling hook around, and he just slowly hooks it to his thing, and then he just comes down with his bat wings out, like slowly ziplining down. He's just like,
no, like you were with your turkey earlier.
Yeah, like Batman is so show offy, where he just slowly just zips lines down like, look at me. And it's Batman. Jesus God, dude, get it together, man. And again, like everybody's pissed about Ben Affleck's Batman killing people when Michael Keaton's literally blowing up clown. Why are penguins henchmen
the
clowns?
heroes who don't kill people I have issues with? I feel like you're only not killing them so you have a next story to fight these villains again.
He just wants to keep punching people in the face when they get out of jail. He's just like, I really need to release anger.
Did Batman really just want to take him to jail after he revealed his identity to him? No.
That was my other question. It's like, bro, I love the whole like face palm. He's like, you're going to jail. He face palms like Max Schreck out of the way. Like, you're going to jail. It's like, is he though? Is he?
He's not.
Again, though, why in the world?
He looks worse than Marv in Home Alone with his burnt face. Why did she kiss him when she tasered him?
She did that. Yes. Yeah. No, but why are penguins henchmen clowns?
I don't know, but the skinny clown was Billy from Hocus Pocus.
Was it really?
Yeah. Apparently I was like his quote unquote breakout film.
Really? That's amazing.
You can tell too. Once you know when you look at him, you can see his face.
That's amazing. Oh my God. That's hilarious. Billy.
He's credited as skinny clown.
That's amazing. But like, why are your henchmen clown? Oh, no. It just goes off the rails. This movie is both dark, but also like, yeah, why does she kiss him with the taser? And then he gets fried to a crisp and then she gets away and is still alive. I get the whole nine because they never meant it to be so superstitious or supernatural as it turned out, but she's alive at the end of the movie with the bat signal up and she just like appears and it's like, that's the movie I wish we could have gotten the third movie of.
And that's the movie they set up for.
Yeah. And then we just never get it because Burton couldn't tone it down for McDonald's. And Michael Keaton was like, there ain't no way I'm coming back for this shit. And so we ended up with Val Kilmer, Jim Carrey.
Michael Keaton and Tim Burton still work together. It's still possible. Maybe they could just have the geriatric version.
To be fair, Michael Keaton didn't come back and play Batman recently. His continued version.
Oh my God. He was the best part of the Flash movie. And he's Vulture. Come on, we got Vulture and Wasp. Oh, that would be so cool if we could have a scene with them somehow together. Oh, that'd be so fun.
Yeah.
We need more of both of them.
Yeah, I fully agree. Yeah. That's kind of like, I don't know. This movie's fun. All right. It's so sad that we see a massive course correction. Although I love the Schumacher films, I will defend those movies until my last breath. I will die. And then it's like a horror movie in which I will pop back up from the dead just to get one more word in for these films.
Rusted Metal Batman.
But the best part is he's like, huh? Like Batman's caught off guard. Like, huh? Like, what?
I hate how Alicia Silverstone was treated. On screen and off screen.
She deserves
more respect.
I would love to sit and have a conversation with her. She's going to be at MegaCon as well. I would just love to sit there and be like, can we just talk about Batman,
I know,
please?
I'm really tempted to wear some yellow plaid with some knee highs. I'm going to go.
If I go, like, I want to go to that panel. That is one, like, Tabby wants to go to the Doctor Who. Mine's Alicia Silverstone right now.
Tabby,
like,
I want to go.
That's
to
where I'm going.
Too, I'm sure.
That's my panel. I'm front row.
Timmy. You love Clueless. This is the MegaCon to shine. Come on. Let's go meet Alicia Silverstone.
Yeah, like I do. So down. What do you give? All right. If you had to give a Letterboxd score out of 5.
Are we rating this?
Oh, yeah, Jesus. Dude. I need to know your Letterboxd. I got to put on Letterboxd.
Out of 5?
I'm trying to get our Letterboxd going back again. So I need to put it up. on Letterboxd so that way we can both come to a consensus.
I do a 4.25 out of 5.
4.2. All right. I was going to go with 4.5.
Because that's an 8.5.
Yeah. So 8.5 out of 10. Okay. So what would
I'm going to go,
out of 5?
I'm only going to go 8.5 because of the level of misogyny.
4.25 plus divided by 2. So that's a 4. It comes out to a 4.5 out of 5. I can't do math.
Really, divided by 2, carry this.
So 4.5 out of 5, essentially, right? It's very misogynistic. He pushes her out the window, kills her, and then just like she gets treated like shit. Misogynistic
part. What did? Oh yeah, I forget the line he said when she was. We haven't domesticated her, and I'm sure that was a line to foreshadowing the idea of her being a cat. But that was terrible. And then they all laughed. That was god awful. And you're going to pretend like she's not gorgeous because her hair's messed up. She was still beautiful.
Yeah.
But I digress. Okay, so we're all done. Do you know what we're doing next week?
What are we doing next week in our Christmas extravaganza or holiday extravaganza?
So next week, we're going to make Riley's Christmas dreams come true. And we're going to do Gremlins.
We are. We touched on it briefly a few years ago, but we never dove into the film of Gremlins.
We're deep diving it, and we'll go a little into 2 as well.
Okay.
And exactly. Yeah, we did a nod to it. So
yeah, if you have thoughts about Gremlins, go ahead and let us know. Drop us a line, hopsgeeknews@gmail.com. If there's something you didn't like or there's something you want to add into the discussion for Batman Returns, hey, Threads, Instagram, Facebook group, Twitter, I'm still there, but don't really active these days due to things. Blue Sky, we're there. Hopsgeek News. The easiest way, you just Google Hopsgeek News and you're going to find us. If this is somehow you stumbled upon us, that's where we are. We have a Discord channel. Come in, hang out, talk. We love to build a community. We love to just sit and watch movies together, hang out. Let us know what your thoughts about Batman Returns are, what your relationship with this movie is. And next week, we're going to go into Gremlins, man. I love deep dive in movies because it lets us talk about some of the production things, just like we talked about tonight. And thanks for hanging out with us, as always. Hey, Christmas shopping, don't worry about it. You know what? Nothing beats a good Christmas shopping if you're stressed out than listening to this podcast while you do it. Hopefully you get a chuckle or two. Life's too serious to be stressed. Too blessed to be stressed. Until next week, we'll see you later, guys. That's it. You little minx. I don't like you anymore.
This holiday, BMW has reunited 3 members of the family at the BMW Road Home Sales event. The Agile X3, engineered for any adventure. The plug-in hybrid X5, commanding the streets with unmatched presence. And the all-electric i4, charging into the future with impeccable performance. Hurry in to find what powers your journey at the BMW Road Home Sales event. BMW, the ultimate driving machine.
Visit Valley BMW Center today for attractive lease and finance offers.
Ryan Seacrest here. When you have a busy schedule, it's important to maximize your downtime. One of the best ways to do that is by going to ChumbaCasino.com. Chumba Casino has all your favorite social casino games like spin slots, bingo, and solitaire that you can play for free for a chance to redeem some serious prizes. So hop on to ChumbaCasino.com now and live the Chumba life. Sponsored by Chumba Casino. No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 18 plus terms and conditions apply.